Hey everybody, welcome to the next video lesson. Today we're going to talk about chemical thermal energy. Have you ever wondered how chemical reactions change the energy of the surroundings? We use chemical reactions all the time. We use chemical reactions to cook food, drive cars, and heat our homes. These things are all exothermic chemical reactions, warming up the surroundings. But there's also situations that cool down the surroundings, like instant cold packs. This is also a chemical reaction. Where does the energy change come from? Well, today we're going to discuss that. These are all examples of chemical reactions that give off exothermic or absorb endothermic thermal energy. But what about the chemical reaction does it? Well, we have to take a closer look at the bonds. Energy from a chemical reaction is called enthalpy. And the units of enthalpy, unlike the units of heat, are kilojoules per mole. Heat is just joules, where enthalpy, or change in heat, is kilojoules per mole. And as you could probably expect, since there's a mole in this unit, we can use this to do stoichiometry, but that's for a future lesson. Chemical reactions break bonds and make new bonds. This is a fundamental truth of chemical reactions. Both breaking and making bonds requires an energy change. Let's first take a look at what happens to the reactants. The reactants' bonds need to break. Bonds are inherently stable, otherwise they wouldn't exist. So because they are stable, energy is always needed to break the bonds. You always need to input energy. So the reactants is always an endothermic situation. Now the products then need to be formed. The products create bonds. Creating bonds is always exothermic. Now, if the energy that went into breaking the bonds is equal to the energy lost when the new bonds are formed, then the reaction overall would be zero energy change. But that almost never happens. One of these, either the reactants bonds or the products bonds, requires more energy to break or releases more energy to make. And as a result, the reaction is either exothermic or endothermic. Let's observe this chemical reaction. The production of water from hydrogen and oxygen. On a molecular level, we have 2 molecules of hydrogen and 1 molecule of oxygen. So 3 total bonds that need to be broken. So energy will go in to split these bonds apart. On the product side, we have 2 molecules of water created. So we're going to create 4 bonds. All 4 of these bonds will release energy. Now, because we have more bonds created, 4 exothermic bonds created, and only 3 endothermic bonds broken, then this reaction will be overall exothermic. So we would add heat to the product side, and I'll talk more about this in the future. But an exothermic situation releases heat, and so we include heat on the product side. If the reaction had more energy that went into the reaction, on the reactant side than the energy released from the product side, we would repeat the heat on the reactant side. This is an example of an exothermic reaction. The heat of the RxN, which is the abbreviation for reaction, is exothermic, so it releases energy. We're going to end with this graphic. What we have here are 2 potential energy profiles, one that shows an endothermic situation on the left and one that shows an exothermic situation on the right. And if I were you, I'd pay very close attention to what's happening in this slide of the notes, because there's certainly going to be at least one, maybe more than one, test question on it. Taking a look at the graph on the left, we begin with the potential energy increasing along the vertical axis and the reaction progress in time. Maybe it's in seconds or maybe it's in minutes. It doesn't really matter. The reaction progresses as fast as it progresses. But we begin at a potential energy of the reactants. This is how much energy the reactants just are existing when they begin the reaction. Now we need to add energy in order to break those bonds. Breaking bonds is endothermic. So we need to break the bonds. Until we've broken all the bonds, at this point, all the bonds are broken, and now all the new bonds are going to form. And so you're going to have a falling side of this profile. So each one of these profiles is very similar, that you begin with a rise and you end with a fall. But in this first example, the fall is less than the amount that we rose. So we have more endothermic energy going into breaking bonds than the exothermic energy released when the bonds are formed. And so if we look at where we started to where we finished, we see that the amount of energy has actually increased, or energy in, endothermic. So this reaction is an endothermic reaction when your products finish at a higher energy than your reactant started. Now, I will tell you that this situation is much less common than the situation on the right. Most of the chemical reactions that you know, maybe as high as 75 to 80% of the chemical reactions that you know and experience on an everyday basis, are exothermic reactions that release energy, but there still are some reactions that add energy in order for the reaction to occur. Now, the one on the right, again, we begin with the reactants, but the potential energy of the reactants, as you can see, is a little bit higher than the starting potential energy of the previous one. There's some rising action once again. We have some breaking of bonds, and so we need to break the bonds of the reactants, and then we need to create new bonds for the products to form. So you've got the exothermic breaking bonds part. Now the exothermic part, as you see, dips way below the reactant side. We go past the energy in which reactants started. So overall, this reaction loses energy. And when you have a loss in energy or a release of energy, we call that exothermic reaction, and we show the sign negative delta H. So make sure that you have a good understanding of the similarities between these two potential energy profiles and also the differences. One is endothermic while the other is exothermic, and you need to be able to know what the difference is and why they are different. Well, that takes care of this video lesson. Thanks for watching.